Good morning, students. As you all know that in the human physiology topic, the first unit was deleted. So, as this lesson is important for your competitive, that is KCET and NEET. So, in this class, we are going to start with the new physiology chapter, that is digestion and absorption. As you all know, human physiology means physiology. It is going to deal with the activities which are going to takes place inside our body. So as you are going to study with the human physiology, already you have come across with the physiological activity of the human being, that is respiration, excretion, locomotion, neural control, and its chemical uh, integration and coordination. Okay, that is the endocrine, the with respect to hormones. So all the physiological activities you have already studied. So only the first unit which was not dealt by us, so that lesson I am going to continue today. Okay, so as you all know that digestion, it is meant by digestion. Digestion here, you all know that we are going to do the number of works. So how we are going to do the work? When we get the energy, when our body gains the energy, then only we are going to continue with our works. Okay, so how this energy we are going to get to our body? The body is going to get the energy when we take the food. So that food is considered to be as the basic requirement of all the living organisms. So in the basic requirements, the food is a major source as the requirement of all the living organisms. And this food here, now every day you are going to take the food. You will take the breakfast, you will take the lunch, you are going to take the dinner. But that food we are going to take every day 3 meals, and you can't consider that 3 meals to be as a balanced diet until and unless that food what you are going to take. So if that food is consisting of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and the water, all these components, if they are present in your food what you are going to take every day, then only that food is said to be as a balanced diet. So as I said, the carbohydrates means it, you all know that that is the glucose, sucrose, lactose, all these comes under the carbohydrates. Then proteins, if you drink a glass of milk, then to your body your proteins are being entering. Then fats, vitamins, minerals, all these we are going to consider as the component of the food. If all these are present in our food what we are going to take every day, then only that food is said to be as a balanced diet. So what the food you are going to take, so that food is going to provide the energy for your body, and even that food is going to provide organic materials for your body development, growth, or it is we can also consider it as the repair of tissues. Okay, then are you going to take only the food every day? If you drink a glass of milk, then I said proteins are also entering to your body. Along with the proteins, remember there will be a presence of water also in the milk. Or if you take breakfast, lunch, dinner, then after that you are going to drink a glass of water. Why this water is important? Because this water is it is a very important during metabolic activities. So we consider the water plays a very important role during the metabolic process. And it all, remember the water, it also helps in the prevention of your body from the dehydration. Okay, so I said the food what you take every day, if it is consisting of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, then we consider that food has to be as a balanced diet. Okay, so that food, if it is consisting of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, then all these carbohydrates are molecules, proteins are also molecules, fats are also molecules. All these molecules together we are going to consider, we are going to call them as macromolecules. So these macromolecules are said to be as, or these macromolecules, when they are present in your food, and if you take that macromolecules to your body cannot utilize them as in their original form. Why? Because I said when you take the food, so that food is going to provide the energy. So how that food is directly converted into the energy? Here what the food you are going to take, so that food is made up of larger molecules. So that larger molecules, if they are being broken down into smaller pieces, smaller molecules, then only our body can absorb the energy from that food. Okay, so when your body absorbs the energy from that food, so that energy will be supplied to all your body tissues and helps to bring the remaining physiological activities. So here carbohydrates, proteins, fats, we are going to call them as bio macromolecules. So these bio macromolecules which are present in the food, they cannot be utilized by our body. Why they cannot be utilized by our body? Because they are in the size of that macromolecules, the molecule are larger, so they cannot be utilized by our body in their original form. So in that condition our body is going to break those larger molecules into smaller substances or simple substances. So I said the larger food molecules are being broken down into smaller food molecules. So who is going to help for this breakdown of the larger molecules into smaller molecules? That is done by our digestive system. So this process of breakdown of the larger food molecules into simple, and remember these simple food substances should be in the form of absorbable. If they remain, they are converted into simple, but if they are not absorbable, again our body, our tissues cannot absorb the energy from that simple substances. So what is the digestion? Digestion is the process of conversion or breakdown of complex food substances to simple absorbable forms is called the digestion. As I said, the digestion, the breakdown of the larger molecules to the smaller molecules, is being carried out by the digestive system, and that process we call it as digestion. So here our digestive system is going to convert or break the larger food molecules into smaller food molecules by two methods. What are those two methods? Those two methods are mechanical and biochemical. So this is the introduction about the digestion and absorption. So the digestion, if you take the meaning of the unit name, digestion means the breakdown of larger food substances into smaller food substances. So that smaller food substances should be in the form of absorbable. So if it is in the form of absorbable, then only our cells are going to absorb it, and then they are going to gain the energy, and that energy is being utilized for doing the work. So this is the meaning of the unit, that is the digestion and absorption. So the digestion and absorption, it is being done by our digestive system with the help of the two methods called mechanical method and biochemical method. Okay, so here you can see this is our digestive system. So here I said the digestive system is going to help in the process of digestion by two methods. One is mechanical method and another one is a biochemical method. So what is this? What is the difference between biochemical and mechanical? See, take a piece of roti. Okay, when you keep a piece of roti or chapati in your mouth, you are going to chew it with the help of by using your teeth, tongue. Okay, then so when you convert that piece of roti or chapati into smaller pieces, so that process which is being used for the conversion of the larger piece of the chapati or roti into smaller pieces, that is being done by the mechanical method. But here you observe, when you are eating, when you are chewing the chapati or roti, are you taking only the help of your teeth and tongue, or you are going to take even the help of your saliva which is being secreted in your mouth? 100% you are going to take even the help of your saliva which is being secreted in your mouth with the help of the salivary glands. So when your salivary gland secretes the saliva, and that saliva is being utilized for the breakdown of the larger piece of the chapati or roti into smaller pieces. So here the use of the saliva is considered to be as a biochemical method. Why we are going to call the secretion of the saliva, and that saliva is being used for the digestion or chewing what is being carried in your mouth. So that saliva is consisting of the enzymes. So we consider this as the biochemical method. Okay, so in this image you can see the salivary glands. Okay, then previous to the salivary glands you can see the presence of the mouth, esophagus, stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, small intestine, large intestine, appendix, rectum and anus. So here now we shall start with, or we shall study the structure of human digestive system. The human digestive system consists of the alimentary canal. So here, what is alimentary canal? Alimentary canal means it is going to start with the mouth and it is going to end with the anus. So from mouth till the anus, whatever are running, they are said to be as the parts of alimentary canal, and only the alimentary canal is considered under digestive system. No, along with the alimentary canal we consider even associated glands also. What is this meaning of associated glands? Associated glands means along with the alimentary canal what the glands are present with attaching to the alimentary canal, all together we call it as a digestive system. So digestive system means it is consisting of alimentary canal also, and to the alimentary canal the association of the gland. Which are the glands which are being associated with our alimentary canal? See at the top I have related with respect to your mouth anterior part, that is the salivary glands. Then the digestive system, when it rounds down, esophagus, stomach, there you see beside the stomach there is the liver also. So remember, the liver is said to be as the largest gland. Okay, so after the liver there you see, you can see one more a green color it is we consider even it as the digestive gland, but here it is not having any function of secretion, but whatever the secretion comes from the liver, that is being stored inside the gallbladder. Okay, then just see after the stomach. So the stomach, it is a sac like structure, then it is going to take a C curve. So in that C curve you can see yellow color, a leaflet like structure where it is being named as, labeled as pancreas. So even that is said to be as a gland. As you all know that when I was handling the endocrine, that is the human hormonal integration, chemical integration and coordination. So in that topic I said that the pancreas is also said to be as a gland. We called the pancreas as a mixed gland. Why we called the pancreas as a mixed gland? Because the pancreas is consisting of both endocrine part as well as exocrine part. Okay, so we come across with the associated glands of the alimentary canal as salivary glands, liver and the pancreas. Okay, so these three together we call them as digestive glands. The digestive glands, why we call them these as digestive glands? Because they help in the process of digestion. So the digestive gland as well as the alimentary canal, all together it is called as the digestive system. Okay, so now you see here the definition of digestion: the process of conversion of complex, that is the larger food substances, into smaller simple, that is smaller absorbable form is called digestion. Okay, so in this digestion we come across with the two types of digestion. What are those two types of the digestion? One is intracellular digestion and another one is extracellular digestion. So you already know the meaning, definition of digestion: extracellular and intracellular. It means cellular, it means the digestion is going to take place inside and outside of the cell. If the digestion is going to occur within the cell, then it is called as intercellular digestion. What is meaning of extracellular digestion? The digestion is going to take place outside of the cell. When the digestion is going to take place outside of the cell, then who is helping for the process of digestion? Who helps for outside of the cell? Who helps for the breakdown of larger molecules into smaller molecules? That digestion is being done with the help of enzymes. So please carefully listen, observe. Intercellular digestion means the digestion which is going to take place inside the cell is called intercellular digestion. Extracellular digestion means the digestion which is going to take place outside of the cell with the help of enzymes is called as extracellular digestion. So ours, we can't consider our digestion as intercellular digestion because ours is extracellular digestion. Why our digestion is, the human digestion is said to be as extracellular digestion? Because the process of digestion, even though it is being done with the help of alimentary canal, the digestive system, even that breakdown of the larger food molecules into smaller is being done by the help of enzymes. So from where these enzymes are coming? The enzymes are coming, remember, the enzymes are being present inside of the secretion which comes from our digestive glands, means our digestive glands. So you all know that whenever the glands word you come across, remember they are having the function of secretion. Okay, salivary glands, the liver, pancreas, all these are the glands. They are having the function of secretion. So this secretion, the secretory product which comes from the salivary glands, liver, pancreas, they are consisting of some one or the other enzymes. So with the help of that enzymes, the digestion is being carried out outside of the cell. That's why it is ours is said to be as extracellular digestion. Then so our extracellular digestion is being carried out by our digestive system with the help of mechanical and biochemical methods. So this is the alimentary canal along with the digestive glands. Okay, so we shall concentrate on the human digestive system. You can see where the mouth is present, that part we consider it as a anterior part. Where the anus is present, so that part is called as a posterior part. Remember students, the digestive system which is consisting of the alimentary canal, so that alimentary canal is having the two openings. What are those two openings? One is anterior opening, another one is posterior opening. The anterior part of digestive system opens with the mouth, and the posterior part of the alimentary canal opens out through the anus. So what is the posterior part of the alimentary canal? That is the anus. Anterior part of the alimentary canal is the mouth. Okay, so further this mouth is going to leads to the buccal cavity or oral cavity. So here you can see first it is going to start with the mouth, and inside of the mouth they have labeled it as the oral cavity. Okay, so the mouth is going to lead to the buccal cavity or oral cavity. So inside of the oral cavity, see, as we are going to study with the human digestive system, so you can imagine about your own digestive system. So your digestive system, the alimentary canal starts with the mouth. Okay, so when you go and stand in front of the mirror and open your mouth and observe, you can see a cavity inside your mouth, and that cavity only we call it as the buccal cavity or a oral cavity. Okay, then this oral cavity or the buccal cavity is inside of the oral cavity or buccal cavity. It is being bordered. Okay, our oral cavity or the buccal cavity is being bordered with the teeth. Okay, then there is even a presence of a tongue also inside our oral cavity. Then listen, when you open your mouth, you can see inside the mouth, you can see the presence of a buccal cavity or a oral cavity. As I said, your buccal cavity or oral cavity is being bordered with the teeth, that is on the lateral side, that is having the teeth, but your oral cavity is having the roof and the floor. What is that roof and the floor? See, you take your tongue and move the tongue to the upside, you will get a roof like structure in your buccal cavity. Okay, and the tongue itself is going to act as the floor. So consider, remember students, what is the roof of the buccal cavity? The roof of the buccal cavity is called as a palate. The floor of the buccal cavity is called as the tongue. Okay, then one more thing you have to observe, as it is all these are the physiological functions which are being taken inside our body, so you should be very cautious about your own body structures. when you move your tongue at the anterior part, you can feel like hard, but at the same time you move it a little bit backside in your oral cavity, so you won't get that hard what you when you touched the upside, the anterior part, that feel you won't get when you make your tongue to touch to the backside. Why? Because that palate is being divided into two types, where you when you moved your tongue to the anterior part, you will get on the, I'm talking about the roof. On the roof you can see some part to be as a hard and some part to be as a rough. Okay, so where the there is presence of hard substance, like so that is called as hard pellet, and the remaining is called as a soft pellet. Why that hard and soft pellet? That is due to the presence of the muscles. Okay, then one more thing you have to observe is about the pellet. They are not mentioned in your textbook, that's why I'm specifying. The pellet is being differentiated as a hard and a soft pellet. Okay, then again you have to observe by opening your mouth. Stand in front of the mirror and observe about your own buccal cavity. Then you will get first when you moved your tongue to the upside little bit anterior part, then you will get hard pellet. When you move it to the back side, you will get the soft pellet. Okay, then again you open, when you open your mouth and stretch it little bit, and you can observe a small conical shaped projections, a triangular like structure which will be hanging towards the downside. Okay, so that is said to be as, that is called as uvula. What is uvula? Uvula, if you want the spelling, you can note down uvula, uvula it is called. So what is the use of this uvula? Remember students, this uvula is going to help when you are talking. Okay, so it is going to help during your talking, or when you are conversing, and even it is going to help for your swallowing of the food also. So I said in the, about your oral cavity, that is the oral cavity is having the roof called as palate, it is having the floor called as tongue, it is being bordered with the teeth. Okay, then that palate is being divided into two part, hard palate, soft palate. Okay, then the why that hard and soft palate? Due to the presence of skeletal muscles. Hard is due to the presence of skeletal muscles, and that soft palate, it is going to continue, or it is going to hang in the triangular shaped conical structure down, which is hanging towards the downside, called as a uvula. This is with respect to your the roof. Then you come across with your floor. That floor is said to be as, that floor is called as the tongue. Okay, so that tongue is made up of muscles, that's why it is called as musculature tongue. Remember students, this tongue is a very freely movable muscular organ, and I said that it is considered to be as the floor of the oral cavity. So here it is attached to our floor of the oral cavity, and that connection is called as frenulum. The connection which helps for attaching of the tongue to the floor of the oral cavity is called as frenulum. Then you stretch your tongue and observe the tongue. So on the upper surface of the tongue, you are going to see some of small projections, and those projections are called as papillae. Okay, so those projections are called as papillae. So these papillae are consisting of the taste buds. Remember students, these are very important for your competitive exams. So there are 4 types of papillae are present in our tongue, but as in case of the human beings, it is said that only there are 3 types of the papillae are present. What are the 4 types of the papillae are present on our upper surface of the tongue? That is foliate, FOLLLIATE, foliate, filiform, FILLIFORM, filiform, fungiform, 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 and circumvallate. All these are the 4 types of the papillae which are present on the upper surface of the tongue, but there is say that only 3 types of the papillae are present on the surface of the tongue, and the 5th one is also being observed in case of the mammals, that is called as umami. Okay, so that is one more type of the papillae which is present on the upper surface of the tongue. Okay, so this is about your buccal cavity. I said in the buccal cavity only with respect to the roof and the floor of the buccal cavity. So the remaining part where I am going to continue in the next class.